Oh, hi, Ralph Kerle here. Welcome. I'm just trying out my new Logitech webcam and thought I'd take this opportunity to thank the members of the Creative Skills Training Council for what's been an absolutely fantastic year. When we started out in 2006, never really did expect that we'd end up with approximately 200 members. We're about 8 short, we're about 192. And I never really did expect that we would have members from all over the globe. Just a quick, brief history on the Creative Skills Training Council. It simply came from a series of discussions that I had with practitioners around the world about how we might exchange information about our own work. I sent an email out to about 12 people and said, would you mind sending that email on? And today, 2.5 years later, if we look at, again, Clay Shirky's book around Here Comes Everybody, where he says groups go from 1 to 10 very quickly, and then they usually fail, and if they get beyond 50, then they can really call themselves an online community, and we've more than achieved that, which is fantastic. There are several people I would like to thank for their ongoing advice and assistance in what we were doing. In particular, I'd like to thank Peter Spence in Melbourne, who was the first one that really took up the challenge to create a live Creative Skills Training Council group, and he did that around about 2 years ago, and that's been absolutely fantastic. The work that they're doing I'm not always aware of, but you can just see from the emails that come out, they're really starting to break through with some fantastic live meetings. Just delighted to know that we've got one of Australia's foremost athletes, Cathy Freeman, who's a gold medalist at the Sydney Olympics, who's really taken a keen interest in what they're doing as well. So that gives us great credibility in Australia. I'd also like to thank Hector Ramos in Singapore. Hector's just starting to get his group underway there under the title of Creativity and Innovation in Singapore, and that looks like it promises to be a really worthwhile group as well. And while it's not officially part of the Creative Skills Training Council, it's certainly something that I think we should support strongly, because Hector is doing a very similar thing to what Peter Spence is doing in Melbourne, and that's just simply forming a group and exchanging information about creative practices. I also want to thank Linda Nix, who is taken up the mantle in Sydney and is starting to form and work with us closely in developing a group in Sydney. And of course there are all the contributors that have contributed wonderfully to the discussions, too numerous to mention. You all know who you are. I think you've done an absolutely fantastic job as well. And I guess finally, as of today, which is the Saturday before Christmas in Australia, we have arrived at a very good understanding with the venue in Malacca in Malaysia for our first CSTC International, and I hope by the time all of you have had a look at this, we will have announced the program and we will call for presentations. Or sorry, I should say the other way around, that we in actual fact will have been called for presentations. So it looks like regardless of how many, whether we get 20, 10 or 50 at the first CSTC International, we will go with it for May next year. Again, I want to thank everybody. I really look forward to the continued wonderful discussions, and thank you for your contribution. This is a very rich and wonderful community. I keep hearing indirectly about the collaborations that are taking place, and obviously it's not possible for all of us to understand all the collaborations that are occurring, but I'm aware that outside of what we see online, people are connecting on a regular and almost weekly sort of basis within the community. So again, thank you everybody, and I look forward to a continued development of such a great community. Thank you.